It is not good here at the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. It is not good in Philly. Um,
It's
like,
not always sunny, is what you're telling me?
it is the least sunny it has been, and it feels real bad right now.
I'm so
And it's
sick of this franchise, Justin. I'm so sick of this franchise.
it's infuriating. We're obviously going to talk warm-up jumpers here with the 76ers. We titled it 76ers Sadness, and I literally jokingly went into ChatGPT and asked it to change the lyrics of Lana Del Rey's Summertime Sadness to 76ers Sadness. I actually did a good job. Obviously it pulls from old data, so like it made references to Tobias Harris, and I was like, I don't need that reminder either.
We're moving on beyond that. It's just
we still have the same damn problems. Like it's so to no surprise at all, because your two stars are hurt and needed time, you put the pressure on Tyrese Maxey to handle the load, running, I think, the second most minutes in the league, only behind Luka, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, he's going to have a hamstring injury. We're never going to see all three of them healthy at the same time this year. It is just not going to happen.
No, and I mean the damage you worry about now is that, you know, they're 1-7. They lost to the Lakers last night. They lost to the Clippers earlier this week. Their only win of the season is an overtime win against the Pacers. Yeah, you're now worried about seeding as well because, you know, this is a team where home court advantage is going to matter come playoff time. Ideally, if these three ever get healthy. But I mean, you're right. It's been probably the worst case scenario for the season. You were most excited about the Sixers in a little bit. It's probably been the worst start of the season you could ask for. Like, it has been a comedy of errors. And you knew when Paul George had the bone bruise and you knew with Embiid that they were going to, you know, kind of struggle a little bit off the rip. That's not really the end of the world. It's just incredible that, you know, you weather the storm with Maxey, you get Paul George back into the lineup, you finally get those two going, you lose a tight one against Phoenix, but, you know, you start to see the vision, you're going to get Joel back, and then it's just, bam, Maxey out indefinitely. It looks like a few weeks minimum with a hamstring injury, but we know how hamstring injuries are. They super linger. And then, oh, by the way, Joel, right as he's ready to make the court, gets suspended for 3 games because he ends up pushing Marcus Hayes in the locker room.
Justifiably, in my opinion, but like you can't
totally just. So like I had our buddy Andy Jordan texted me because he's surprised. He's like, as an ex-media guy, he's like, you're really defending Joel doing this? And I was like, dude, if it were any other columnist, I would truly say, yo, Joel, like, you got to sit for a little bit. That's crazy. For Marcus Hayes, I kind of get it a little bit. And I think the reaction around the city was kind of that way as well. Like, Marcus Hayes, like, as a former journalist, I thought that was a gross piece he wrote about Embiid, referencing his dead brother, referencing his son. Like, there are boundaries that I think that you should respect when covering sports. But it's not like Marcus Hayes has just been trolling Embiid for a long time, too. Like, Marcus Hayes, I feel like, has written one of these columns about every major athlete in Philadelphia over the past decade.
And it's worth mentioning that the topic that kind of was the discussion of Marcus's column, if you hadn't read it, was in reference to Embiid potentially not playing back-to-backs and playing less games, which can be a whole nother conversation we have. Because I'm like, yes, don't do that. Because we've had you play games and back-to-backs, and 3 years in a row now, you've gotten injured before the playoffs or right in the playoffs, and we've come up short. I would quite literally rather you play 50 games, be healthy in the playoffs, and make an actual run this time.
Well, and that's right.
I know you can't legally, I know you can't say that. The Sixers and that ESPN piece, they just told the truth. And so, of course, the NBA is going to come out and be like, no, you can't do that. And like, so I get that part of it. But like, yeah, that was kind of, you didn't need to say it because we all kind of knew that's what you got to do.
Well, it's a lose-lose, and that's what's so frustrating is it's like, you know, you got Embiid goes and says he's not going to play back-to-backs, and then it's like you got everybody out here grandstanding and being like, Embiid is getting paid all this money and he's not playing these games, and how can you let the fans down, blah, blah, blah. And then the same people, when he's hurt again come playoff time because he played a meaningless regular season game, are going to be like, this guy can never get it done in the playoffs. He's hurt all the time. But like, yeah, it's the smart thing to do given his career at this point. You know what it is injury-wise. Like, yeah, maybe you can't go out and say it, but like, you know, I'm sick of this. Like, Adam Silver, I again, has a targeted agenda against the Sixers. I think we know that at this point. Like, He just straight up doesn't like the franchise. He doesn't like Joel Embiid. Like I does feel like there's always something extra from the league going his direction. It's extremely unfair. And Joel has basically said F him and move on in that front. Like I don't think you can listen to the league in that regard.
Do you think if there is an actual agenda from Adam Silver, do you think it spawns all the way back to the process?
Yes,
Joel
I think
is the epitome of the process, so he might still harbor that.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think Adam Silver has had beef with his franchise since Sam Hinkie did the process and took over, and because I think he thinks it made a mockery of the league, which is hysterical because so many teams have processed. Like Oklahoma City right now, this Oklahoma City team essentially processed for 4 years and accumulated all these draft picks.
Yeah, way better job than the Sixers.
Did you see some of the line? Well, it's like, did you see some of the lineups though that they were running out in 2021 and 2022? Like, go look at those Thunder lineups when it's a bunch of 19-year-old kids, but they didn't get Jerry Colangelo forced on them in the name of being respectable and competitive, and now they're the darlings of the league. Like, it was all, and I'm not even mad at Oklahoma City for that. Like, Oklahoma City deserves to reap the rewards of what they sowed. Like, it was a smart thing to do. It was the smart thing to do with the Sixers as well. They just got targeted, and maybe they were too blatant about it, but also like it's like the load management thing. Everyone knows it's happening. Like, why are we denying that it's happening right now?
It has to happen, although the NBA did come out and kind of say that there's no proof that load management saves injuries or makes less injuries and all that stuff.
Sure. For some people, that may be true. Like, I do think there is a little bit, and guys have talked about this. Like, LeBron James has said, we should be playing. I don't always want to sit on back-to-back nights. Every athlete is different. Like, Joel has a different injury history. Like, you can't treat Joel Embiid the way you treat some of these other guys. Like, you're trying to win a championship with this core. And if the Sixers have any chance of winning anything, they're going to need Joel Embiid healthy.
100%. Well, you need all three of them healthy, and that's the big part of it. And the worry I have now with this is because the injuries are like staggered, is this is going to be the whole season, is one won't be healthy as we go down. And then even if they are all three healthy right as we go into the playoffs or play in tournament at this point is probably the best case scenario, it feels like. The chemistry is still in question at that point.
Yeah, you have to build the chemistry for sure, and I agree with that worry. I will counter and say it's still early. Like, it's November 9th when we're recording this podcast. If you're going to have the injuries, it's better to have them now. Paul George is back. Joel will be back post this 3-game suspension. Like, he is playing. So at that point, you've got 2 of the 3. Like, you have to be able to keep the ship afloat with Paul George and Joel Embiid. And so that's why I don't think the problem you're going to run into is with Maxey out is it puts pressure on those back-to-backs, because on nights when it is just Paul George, if you don't have Maxey, it probably isn't enough. PG and Maxey can win you games, but it does. It just puts extended pressure on Joel. Now, the good news, we'll talk.
And then he gets hurt because now he's trying to do too much or has to do too much.
Now, the good thing that we'll talk about a little bit later in the show to preview is that the Eastern Conference has done the Sixers a lot of favors right now. Like, the Sixers are 1-7, but apparently everyone in the Eastern Conference is off to a slow start right now when you take a look at the standings. No, except for the Cavs and except for the Celtics, again, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But
do you it is quite literally like the Sixers are in dead last. They are tied with the Jazz.
Yeah.
That's
the worst part is too, there can't even be a part of me that's like, yo, go in the tank for Cooper Flag, because their pick is top 6 protected this year. So we would have to convey it. Or I believe if it's a top 6 pick, it conveys back to OKC. I believe that's how it works. If it's anything under it, we get it. But if it were to be that bad, I'm pretty sure that pick goes away. I got to double check that.
I'm seeing if I can find the pick situation. So 2026, no, 20. Well, it's not 2025, right? 2026 is on here. Maybe I'm off or whatever. They own a 2026 or own, and then 2026 OKC, Houston, or the Clippers. OKC will receive the 2 most or more favorable of its 2026 first round picks. Houston would get the 2026 first round pick for selections 1 through 4, and the Clippers would get first round, and Philly would receive the least less favorable of these. But that's 2026, so I don't understand why 2025 is not on this list right now.
Yeah, I mean,
but either way,
yeah. I mean, and again, I don't think they're going to be that low in the tank, but you're right. Like, it just, the margin for error goes away. And I think that's just, that's the issue you're going to run into right now.
Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, it's the Thunder top 6 protected. So pick would defer to 2026 because Sixers pick is currently in the top 6.
So we'd keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's great news then. In that case, if everybody's going to be hurt and they want to tank for Cooper Flag, I mean, hey, it would be a little unconventional, but wouldn't really argue with that.
A weird random tank at that point. Yeah, pick would not be transferred per current condition.
Listen, we talked a lot of smack about the draft last year and how we didn't think there were game changers. I mean, it's not just Cooper Flag. Like, there's a few guys, like Bailey looks really good right now, and I promise I'm not just saying that because I'm going to Rutgers Law. There's a few this year that can be some ones right in the league and make impacts right away.
Let's see if there's any. I'm just gonna type in Cooper Flag 76ers. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Gilbert Arenas. Team should probably tank for Cooper Flag. Run it back, Philly. Tank for Cooper Flag.
It's a really good thing the Flyers are so good as well that we can be pleasantly distracted at this point. Like,
2 days ago, Tyrese Maxey's hamstring is going to get the 76ers Cooper Flag.
It's unbelievable.
That's so disappointing, though. We shouldn't be having this conversation. We were supposed to be a top 3 team in the East.
I mean, I don't think we'd have felt that way if we knew they were all going to get hurt. It's just like, can we just have a normal season? Like, that's all I ask for at this point. I just want a normal season. Like, can we just play? Like, I don't. It's just always something. It's always something with this team. The 5-game losing streak right now is to Detroit, Memphis, Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Lakers. Granted, 3 of them are on the road. They come back. Their next 5 are against the Hornets. Then they got NBA Cup game, which we'll talk about a little bit with the Knicks.
They have the longest losing streak in the league. Right behind them is the Pelicans, who we've already talked about.
The Pelicans who are dead, basically. Yeah, the Pelicans who, amazingly with the Pelicans, the only one who's healthy on that roster is Zion Williamson. Like, now Jordan Hawkins is out for 1 to 2 weeks. Like, what on earth is going on down in New Orleans? Like, these guys can't catch a break. Like,
I would say, and I feel like we already kind of talked this as a generalized sports talk. And ESPN did this with football, and the Jags are so disappointing that they weren't even on the list. I thought that was hilarious. It was most disappointing teams this season. I would say, at 10 games ish in per team, Sixers, Bucks, and Pelicans are probably the 3 most disappointing.
See, I don't even really blame the Pels though. The Pels are hurt. Like, the Pels have an excuse when 4 of their top 6 players are out.
Yeah, but if Pels get to use the injury argument, then probably the Sixers get to use the injury argument.
Yeah, but the Sixers have had, I mean, they do to an extent. And I think, like, I feel better if I'm like, this is about to be hilarious. I'm sorry, I'm teeing up the slander. I feel way better if I'm the Pelicans or the Sixers. What's the Bucks excuse? I know Chris Middleton's been out, but like, what is Giannis is already pissy again after another loss the other night. He was saying that they didn't play hard enough against the Knicks. Like, that's going south fast in Milwaukee. Like, we have, I think, maybe underestimated how south I think that has the potential to go there. Disappointment wise, otherwise, it's been a rough start for Miami. I think Miami's got to be pretty disappointed at 3-5.
Yeah, but like Miami is like, that's middle of the pack, and Miami's been middle of the pack.
They're middle of the pack because the conference stinks. That really is not giving them any credit.
No, but the Heat, as a team in general, the last few years have been play-in tournament teams. Whether or not that took them to the finals in one season is a whole different conversation. But as the playoffs started, they were a play-in team. And so, like, that's kind of where they are now. So that's kind of where I expected them to be. I understand that's 3-5 at the moment, but down the line, it's probably going to be in a similar situation. They probably could be 8, 9, 10, and I wouldn't be very surprised.
Yeah, no, I feel that. In the West, I don't really have one, honestly. Like, everybody's kind of playing well so far out there. Like, Utah's bad, but we knew that was gonna
That's
happen. The
what I said.
Pelicans, the whole team is dead, and
That's why it's
Portland
the
is bad.
Pelicans. They're the Pelicans were the one that was like, "Oh, let's see if they bump it up to a 4 or 5 seed this year,"
Yeah.
and they're not gonna be able to because of injury.
But at least they have a valid excuse.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Pels, it's not like you have to re-examine anything
No.
here. It's just everyone on our roster is hurt, and it should ideally turn around when we get that back a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, the Spurs will be interesting, and again, that's something we'll talk about in a little bit with Pop out now indefinitely. That'll be interesting to watch, but they've been competitive enough so far, and every other team. I mean, if anything, again, you guys got, I think, teams overachieving so far. You know, look at
You
the Clippers above 500 right now, for
what
example.
what season was I think it was 22, 23. I'm trying to go before the All-Star break, maybe just the entire month of November. Um, there was a season where the I want to say there was a season where the Orlando Magic were the number 1 seed
Mhm.
after a certain amount of games. It was definitely 10
Oh,
games,
I
but it
think it
might
was
have been more.
I think it was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's what I'm trying to see. 22, 23, you think? Let's
I
look
don't I mean,
here.
what's the greater point, though?
It was gonna lead us into our next conversation of, and we can do this after the intro if you want, is the 2024, 2025 Cavs, whatever that season was, Orlando Magic.
I'm gonna defer that question because I know we're gonna hit the Cavs once again a little bit and who's balling, who's falling. But I will say as a little preview of that Kenny Atkinson has them boys balling for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
Welcome everybody to the Drive Into NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
I got so excited to bring up that topic that I deleted my tweet, so we don't have a tweet today.
Hey, that's fine. Whatever. I mean, I'm excited to talk about it too. Like they're really again, it'll always only 10 games in, but I mean, dude, they blew the doors off the Warriors the other night. Yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see. You know, we've been talking about this team needing to take the step. They certainly look like early on that they are taking that step. So it will be fun to watch the rest of the season. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, wherever you find your podcasts, you can find us.
It was not the 2022, 2023 season. The Orlando Magic, after the first month of the season, were 1-6,
Oh,
AKA they were the 76ers of this year.
good.
So
Okay.
great. We'll have to see where they landed at the end of it all on in that season, see what happened. But yeah, obviously we are on YouTube as well. We do video version of the podcast. You can watch it there if you want, or obviously subscribe where you listen to your podcast. You can subscribe on YouTube. You get information just as you would as subscribing to a podcast when our new episodes come out.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So let's dive into it, right? The Cavs are 10-0. They are the only team that is still undefeated. I think the next best team record-wise has 8 wins. I think there's 3 of them. 2 are in the West, and 1 is the Celtics. I guess my question back to before the break was, are the Cavs, whatever year the Orlando Magic won like 15 games, they were the number 1 seed in the East. I remember it very clearly because I remember saying like they're going to get injured and it's just going to freaking all fall apart because that's what happens for the Orlando Magic. And when I can find that season, I'll tell it. Or we'll bring it up. But are the Cavs that example this year?
I mean, early returns say no. It's been balanced too. Like they're winning at home, they're winning on the road. Their offensive rating has just been blistering hot so far. Like, if there's a concern, I guess it's the defensive rating. Like, their defensive rating is a little bit like higher by about 2 points per game than Boston and 3 than New York right now. But no, I mean, I think you got to feel great about everything. I mean, one, Kenny Atkinson doing a phenomenal job, but it's like you're getting, you know, again, you had faith in this core and you stuck to your guns. You know, like I said, I feel like I've repeated a bunch of times, but like I was on the trade Darius Garland wagon, and Darius Garland has broken out this year. Like he's been
Mhm.
what they needed to be. He's taken the 3 more consistently. which I know has been a theme around the league this year in general. But giving you 20.5 points a game. And, Evan Mobley looks like he's taking those steps. And again, the bigger story too, that's kind of going under the radar is Karis LeVert's resurgence off the bench. He's been a real like streaky player in the past. And really kind of the past 2 years, it's been the streak has trended the way it doesn't need to go. It's been a lot of black hole offense. It feels like, him getting him back in the swing of things. And he's a guy who has a lot of familiarity with Kenny Atkinson. So maybe it's that, but he's definitely given them a lot of quality minutes as well.
Yeah. And I mean, it is a bit of a surprise. I don't think anybody really thought this is what we would get out of the Cavs, but obviously a huge nod to coaching. And you can go back and listen to our last episode where we kind of debated Lakers with JJ and Kenny with Cavs and what Kenny would have to do to kind of overshadow JJ, even if JJ had a middle of the pack team that just made it out of the play-in tournament. Feels like national media wise for a coach of the year type conversation would lean his way a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout to Fear the Sword for this. Garland off ball has been 46.6% on corner threes, 48.5% on catch and shoot.
Wow.
It has, like, it's just been, the ball has been in his hands more. He's been able to kind of hold those solo lineups down. Like he plummeted. Like when Donovan Mitchell was off the floor last year for the Cavs, I think that was the big issue, right? Like they just plummeted. They needed him to be the absolute centerpiece of the offense. Like you're getting, the contributions out of Garland and out of Mobley as well. Like Mobley's taking the third most shots on the team right now. I've always said his chemistry with Jared Allen has been a little underrated in the sense that it feels like people have been trying to break it up, but early returns are good. I've always said, like, Atkinson not having a head coaching job for this long has been weird to me. I still really like it. His firing was most akin to me with like Mike Malone when Sacramento fired him, to where it was like, wait, what? Like they're doing well. Why are you getting rid of him? It's kind of weird. And again, Golden State, especially the past few years, has been a pretty cushy assistant job for sure.
Oh yeah.
And maybe he took that a little personally last night, wanted to beat his old running mates. But I mean, look, you go out and you get the ring there in 2022, and I'm not surprised that Kenny Atkinson is coaching these guys well. Like I think he's been a good coach for a while.
Which we will bring up a stat for my Ballin and Fallin segment that kind of relates back to that Warriors game. So a little bit of a tease there. I was looking it up. They are the highest in the league right now for field goal percentage, shooting 52.7%.
Yeah,
which is wild. They're highest in the league for 3-point percentage. They were top. Where was it? Top 5 for assists. They were top 5 for steals, like just clicking on all cylinders. And the plus minus, they're second in the league. The only team higher than them in plus minus is the Oklahoma City Thunder, which also is getting they're getting a lot of praise as well.
Yeah, some are calling this a Cavalanche to start the season. Not me, but some people are calling it that. NBA Cup is starting on Tuesday, and we have some games on next Friday as well. So
the Emirates NBA Cup.
Excuse me, you're right.
Get your money.
Listen, hey, if Emirates, have you seen those Emirates first class flights? You want to get me on one of those? Like I'll fly anywhere.
Yeah, there's so one of my coworkers, she does well, she's no longer a coworker. She does a nationally syndicated morning show, Subtle Flex. She got hit up by a company that does like trips.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do like an endorsement with her. And so she sets up a yearly like girls trip to somewhere. And so last year they went to Ireland.
Uh-huh.
And so she set it up and she's like, it's great because, I bring out 20 people, like 3 of my friends usually go and like, 18 other people sign up. And the deal with them was like, if you get that many people to sign up, we'll pay for your part of it.
Yeah.
And so she got that many people to sign up and they put her in first class on an Emirates. And she was like, yo.
Yeah, it's insane. There's like besides all the food, it's like there's a full shower in there. Like
she was sending me pictures and I was like, dude, this is sick. Like that's so cool.
If you were to do it, if you were to take one of those flights like Abu Dhabi or Dubai or one of something like that out of New York, it's like a $20,000 ticket.
We were gonna go to the when Nicole and I got married, we were gonna go to the Maldives for our honeymoon.
Yeah.
But the there was a few different things at play. It was the same cost to go to where we went in Mexico to go to the Maldives, but from travel, you lost a day going to the Maldives. And this was like prime COVID. And the problem was you landed in like, you had to take like 3 different flights, and that's 3 different it was like 3 different countries and all different rules. And God forbid you're halfway through one and you get COVID or you get sick, and then you gotta abide by. There was just so many options. And so, but we had talked about, we're like, do we do something crazy and like go Emirates and get like a first class for that first like 16-hour flight over, like go crazy? And
I mean, like Australia and New Zealand remain high on my list of places to visit. Japan too, honestly, but like especially for Aussie and New Zealand, like that is such a bear of a flight to get to from America. Like it's the only drawback is that you're spend a whole day in the air basically.
I was trying to figure out, you'll laugh at me for this. The other day, I was trying to figure out, because I saw a morning show radio station out in New Zealand that I really liked was hiring a producer.
Yeah.
I was trying to, through my aunt, I was wondering if I had enough of a connection to try to get citizenship in New Zealand and move there.
Hey, listen, I'm in New Zealand. Y'all want to offer us citizenship? I'll do the pod there in a second.
Yeah, dude. Isn't Steven Adams from New Zealand?
Steven Adams is from New Zealand.
Steven Adams can come and be a guest on the podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, big Kiwis over here. I don't know if this is going to do us any favors with our Aussies, though. I think they might have some beef if we go to New Zealand. I think we become natural rivals then.
Listen, Australia, you want us down there too. Like, I'll listen. Steve Irwin, come on.
Why is it always it's always Steve Irwin? Why is he the most famous Australian in America?
No, because I don't know. Would you put the AC/DC guys over him?
Oh yeah, that's true. Wow.
Because those are the first 2 that come to my mind.
And but would you think
I'm slighting so many people by saying that?
No, I think if you said AC/DC, people would know that is over Steve Irwin. But I don't think people associate AC/DC with Australia.
Maybe not. I know they're from Australia, but I don't know if that's like a big, very common, just casual music fan thing.
No, and I mean, yeah, that's probably the answer.
I mean, like Chris Hemsworth and all them, like those guys are pretty popular right now.
Yeah, that's definitely up there. I mean, NBA wise, I don't know who the most popular.
Hey, baby, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Hugh Jackman's from Australia.
Oh yeah, that's a big one too. Well, there's more. Yeah, I mean Nicole Kidman,
Heath Ledger,
rest in peace. Yeah, wow. Russell Crowe,
Mel Gibson. Okay, we slided.
We're good on Mel for right now. Mel kind of went off the deep end.
Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to claim that one either.
I think she's got an OnlyFans going now.
I'm
not lying. I actually think
you want to do some research on that and get back to us.
I don't think I should do that on a company computer.
Oh, come on! It's for top 40. Like she has plenty of those songs on the radio station.
All right. Yeah.
Oh no, fam! I ain't actually say for you to do it. Hang on, like I ain't got anything on the line.
Hold on. She has put out. Oh my God. Iggy Azalea's monthly earnings from OnlyFans, $13.67 million.
I don't know if I believe that, but I believe it's a lot. You think it's 13? Do you think it's 13 mil?
Estimated total earnings right now are 70.14 mil. She started back in February of 2024.
Good for her.
Wow. She earned $307,000 in a single day.
I mean, I believe that. Maybe, I guess.
Jeez, dude.
I don't know, man. Anyway, so the Emirates NBA Cup
sorry, Swaggy.
Is going on. Oh, that was years ago now. God.
I know. Is he married now? Swaggy P? What's he up to?
I don't know. Probably nothing good.
Okay. Goal for the podcast, find a way to use Swaggy P in our Immaculate Grid later on.
Yeah, okay. I'm down with that. All right. So just to refresh the group cups or the groups here in NBA Cup. In the West, you've got Group A is Minnesota, the Clippers, Sacramento, Houston, and Portland. Group B is OKC, Phoenix, the Lakers, the Jazz, and the Spurs. And Group C is Denver, Dallas, New Orleans, Golden State, and Memphis. Eastern Group A is the Knicks, the Magic, the Sixers, the Nets, and the Hornets. East Group B is the Bucks, the Pacers, the Heat, the Pistons, and the Raptors. And East Group C is Celtics, Cavs, Bulls, Hawks, Wizards. My initial reaction off the rip is in the Eastern Conference, man, that's got to stink. You got to feel right now if you're Cleveland or you're Boston. It's like, yo, we're the two best teams right now. We got to play each other in group play in this. Like, there's a chance one of them knocks each other out.
Which I guess if you're any of the other teams, you kind of hope that, right? Because that's a first matchup too, isn't that's on November 19th? I think they met.
Yeah, so the full schedule. So Tuesday's games, you got Hawks, Celtics, Heat, Pistons.
Oh, Hawks, Celtics. Okay.
Yeah, Hawks, Celtics, Heat, Pistons, Hornets, Magic, Knicks, Sixers, Raptors, Bucks, Suns, Jazz, Mavs, Warriors, and Timberwolves, Trailblazers. You got 12 games on Friday. Then it's Heat, Pacers, Sixers, Magic, Pistons, Raptors, Wizards, Hawks, Bulls, Cavs, Nets, Knicks, Lakers, Spurs, Clippers, and Rockets, Nuggets, Pels, Suns, Thunder. That's probably the best game on Friday is Suns and Thunder. Grizzlies and Warriors as well.
Damn, you guys right off the rip are facing off against each other. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Early thoughts on the groups. In the East, I think given the injuries, A group favorites got to be Knicks. I mean, with Paulo out for the Magic and with the Sixers dealing with all their injuries we talked about in warmups, like you got to feel good if you're the Knicks against the Nets and the Hornets as well. In Group B, I mean, I don't know. The Bucks off to a pretty bad start.
Pacers again, just because they
it could be. And obviously for those of you need a reminder, the Lakers won the inaugural one last year. The Pacers winning the East last year in the NBA Cup. Yeah, I could see the Pacers doing this here. Bucks have been kind of the Raptors, Pistons, not really going to be with them. I mean, Miami too off to a slow start, but like, yeah, I'll give Indy that here. Indy or Miami.
I feel like Indy's fine there. And honestly, in Group C, my first thought is like, I feel like when it comes down to it, Boston's not going to care about this as much as maybe the Cavs might.
Yeah, I could see the Cavs really like coming out and trying to win this thing. I agree in that regard. I mean, Boston, you could see advancing still on point differential, but that group is tough. Like a little more, the Bulls and the Hawks, you don't think are going to knock either of those two teams off this group, but they are a little more competitive. Like the Wizards feel feisty, compared to some of these other ones. I feel like the Knicks, given the way things broke injury wise, probably have the easiest path in the East to win their little group here.
Very much so. Yeah.
Out west, it's a little more balanced. My initial picks are probably Dallas in Group C. I'm going to take OKC in Group B, and I'm going to take Minnesota in Group A. Okay. And then I think Phoenix will be the team that is the wild card out there. I think they'll get in off point differential and be that fourth squad.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I almost want to go Sacramento Kings maybe in A, but I kind of follow you on the rest. Maybe Warriors over Mavericks because Warriors are trying to quiet people on questioning. And they've been playing well, but I mean, just overall season, people are like, can they do it this year? So I could see the Warriors doing something.
Yeah, it's tough with the Nuggets. I mean, Nuggets have been off to a slow start, and now we haven't even talked about it, but Aaron Gordon's out for 4 weeks, and so that's a huge hit to their depth, which we've already been talking about struggling a little bit.
Yep.
The Clay, like, meshing with Dallas, I feel like has gone pretty seamlessly as well, which you have to be thrilled about. Yeah, I could see the Warriors being feisty. I mean, the Grizz too, honestly. Like, I could see the Grizz definitely competing in this group.
What's worth mentioning is Ja Morant had to do a Western prediction for the Emirates Cup. And and in it, he did not mention at any point the Warriors or the Lakers. And someone asked him about it, and it was more focused on the Lakers, but he talked about how they beat them in the play-in tournament or the playoffs, and how he was upset by it because he couldn't do anything because he was in street clothes. He couldn't play and all that stuff. So A little bit of trash talk going on, which I like. So I could see Memphis doing something crazy and taking it serious to just kind of make a statement like, look, remember what we were a few years ago. We're still that right now.
Yeah, because I think they've been out of that early. You're right. Ja was talking in that interview. He's like, man, I really felt like they were chirping me in street clothes. It's good to see his early returns, and us talking about him playing basketball again. Like, I think that's what we wanted the whole time. I mean, the good news for him is he won't have to worry about the Lakers being in Group B unless they come out.
Yeah.
OKC feels like a team that even though they're, favorite to win the West and maybe the whole title this year, behind Boston, certainly my favorite in the West. But I think that they still, because they're younger, could be the team that takes this seriously and, really makes a run at group play. They're not kind of, Boston is trying to defend their title this year. You could see them running the floor here, but, obviously a few of their guys are a little bit older now. So maybe, with Drew, with Al Horford are not, dumping the tank the way they would in the playoffs, and that's where a team like Cleveland maybe could take advantage.
I do wonder how long it takes with this NBA Cup tournament, kind of midseason tournament thing. I wonder how long it takes for us to have the winner of the midseason tournament also win the finals.
Yeah, to
I
do
wonder
both.
when
Yeah, you're
that.
right. They're a good mix. I mean, like I said, Thunder could maybe do that this year, but I mean, so could
Yeah,
Boston.
that's
Like,
what made
that's
me
the
that's what
thing.
made me think it. Like, yeah, if it's Boston, OKC, you feel good about your chances at that point because those are kind of deemed right now the two top teams on both sides. No slight at the Cavs for being above them in the standings. It's just we kind of those are defending champs and the team that just looks to be a juggernaut right now. So
Yeah. Quarterfinals, once you get out of the knockout rounds, or once you get out of group play, I should say. Quarterfinals are December 10th and December 11th. Semis and championship are on the 14th and the 17th, respectfully. Good Lord. Respectively is what I'm trying to say there. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm excited about it though. Excited to see the courts back. It feels like they did some good job with that this year. It's fun. Like I said, I've been an NBA Cup guy for a while. It feels like they took it seriously enough in the first year to give it some legitimacy, and so I'm hoping to continue to see that grow here in the second year.
I agree. I agree. It looks like it was a slow news day on NBA.com because one of their top articles is here's the NBA players born on November 9th.
Oh, I mean, hey, the guy, you should be doing one of those every day. Nothing wrong with
Sure,
that.
yeah, a few clicks here or there, but it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
that's one of your lead stories that you have on the page.
Whatever, man. We all need something light right now.
We've
All
been
right.
there. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
It's been a week. All right, who's balling, who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like to start with the good before the bad. So, Justin, I will start with you. Who is balling this week?
My ball-in is the Cleveland Cavs. We kind of teased it. They set a franchise record 83 points in the first half against Golden State. When they went into the half, they had a 41-point lead. The Cavs also were in that moment. No one had more than 15 points, which is a wild team effort, or team effort, I should say. So obviously, big win got them to 10-0 and not necessarily just a star doing it. Everyone's kind of contributing, which was cool to see, and also a nod to the good coaching.
Yeah, definitely. Really, like, we're not going to talk about Kenny Atkinson a little more. I feel like we've kind of, hit the nail on the head with this one. But yeah, great start for Cleveland. We'll see if they can keep it up. But either way, getting some separation early. We talked about that middle of the pack, who could stand out, who could maybe make a statement this year. They've certainly made it early so far. All right. Ballin for me is it's kind of rare that I do a single game for Ballin and Fallin, but man, I watched Phoenix and Dallas last night, and it was just really, really entertaining. 114 to 113 final. Phoenix ended up taking it. Nurkic huge late down the stretch. Big foul or drawing the foul late. 15 and 10 overall, really efficient from the field. I feel like that was one of the big stories. KD with 26. And on a night where Book was quiet, they got balanced contributions from elsewhere. A guy like Tyus Jones puts in 17. Royce O'Neal has been great for them off the bench. 7 of 8 from the field last night, 18 points. For Dallas, you got to like what you see out of the starting lineup. Luka had 30, Kyrie had 29. You get 18 out of Marshall, you get 12 out of Clay. A little bit of a rougher night from Clay, only 1 of 7 from behind the arc. A little bit to be desired from the bench, I think, in this game. I think you only got 9 points total off the bench. That really wasn't going to cut it. Dallas, of course, is missing Derek Lively back to right now as well, so they'll get a little boost on that front. But yeah, just a really entertaining national game last night. It's not going to be my Fallin, but man, Luka just selling just act job of the century on Nurkic, like drawing that elbow. My man didn't get hit at all.
I would say I feel like that matchup would be one that we want to see in the playoffs at some point. Maybe not necessarily round 1 because we want to see that when the tensions are even higher, but would be a good one to see for sure.
Yeah. No doubt about it. All right, who's fallen for you this week?
My Fallin is going to NBA Reddit as a whole.
Okay.
Because we are 10 games in, and we already are asking if LeBron James could request a trade and go back to the Cavs.
That's kind of funny. I mean, that would I don't know if the Cavs, as you're ticking, would want to just have a whole new change like that, but also like it's LeBron James. So
not even that. Like if you go down NBA Reddit, this was the third one that I clicked on that asked the same thing, and it's so funny. The comments, someone was like, "We really need a minimum age to be able to post on this app." The next one is just no.
Just things that are not going to happen.
Right, it's not worth talking about. The whole thing was like, if the franchise got requested a trade, would it make sense for the Cavs to try to trade for him and his near max contract now? It's like, okay.
I mean, if he were to opt out of the contract and wants to go back on a vet minimum and wants to load up and make him a super team, I mean, hey, I get that. You want to bring 2 to Cleveland and get number 5?
I mean, again, I hate that we're even.
He's playing for the Lakers. He's not leaving the Lakers. He's going to retire in LA. Like we need to get, if he wants, the only way he would ever leave the Lakers if he wants to chase 5, but I don't think there's been any indication of him wanting to chase 5 the last few years because he would have done it already. Like I feel like everyone knows that this team is kind of capped. I mean, maybe they win the NBA Cup again this year, and I guess does that equal 5? Like he's got 4.5 right now.
Someone's username that is just Coos wrote, "As much as I like it as a Lakers fan, that means you probably should not do it as a Cavs fan."
Yeah.
Yeah,
is right. All right, falling for me is kind of a bit of a bummer with the Greg Popovich news. He's dealing with some medical stuff. The Spurs are unsure if he's going to return at all. Mitch Johnson says he's been doing good. Again, Pop is 75 years old at this point. Wemby came out in an interview and said he's not worried. They expect to have him back soon. But undisclosed medical episode last Saturday before one of their home games. It was about 2.5 hours prior to tip. He's missed the 3 games since. I'm glad that he's getting treatment, and we obviously wish the most for Pop, or wish the best for Pop. And take care of your health first. Again, especially at his age. Like, I know the kind of what seems cruel joke at this point is like, Pop's got Wemby. That man's coaching until he dies on the floor. But yeah, we obviously hope that he will be back on the sidelines sooner than later. Staple of the game right now.
Completely agree. And obviously, probably the most famous coach in the NBA.
I think from legend perspective for sure. I mean, most name recognition otherwise, I don't know. There's a few that, I mean, Steve Kerr at this point, Eric Spoelstra, maybe even, I mean, I know it's a little more infamous, but I would say maybe even the casuals, Doc Rivers at this point.
I hate that you brought up his name.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. All right. Should we play some Immaculate Grid?
Sure. What I think we're going to do here, though, because this grid.
Yeah, we're not going to play today. I'm tired of doing categories, and we were going to blow through this in 5 seconds. But do you want to do Dallas and Houston quick? You know what? Let's do 2 of these quick. KJ McDaniels works for Nets and Rockets, and what? Oh my God! Dikembe Mutombo works for Nuggets and Rockets, and so those are the 2. The point is,
Damn.
The other categories were Hall of Fame 10 rebounds a game per season, and MVP. And so we were going to blow through this. Like, we know I could probably do this in less than a minute right now without even thinking at this point. And so because of that, we're going to go back and play an old one so we can have some more fun and have a challenge and have some teams instead of doing 10 rebounds a game per season for like the 5th straight week, it feels like.
So what I think we're going to do is I found a random date generator.
Okay. All right.
That we can't cheat. And I don't remember when it started, so I'm hoping it's after.
I think so too. I'm not 100%.
I put it as November 1st, 2023 to now.
Okay.
So let's see what happens. It gives us a random date. Wait.
Oh, you got to put in 2024, just not 2025. We haven't got there yet.
Wait a second.
Future us. Let's time travel real quick. Let's see what we got.
Crazy if you could do that. All right, hold on. Let's go back.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Today. All right, now we can do a random date. August 17th,
Done.
2024. Let's see what we're working with.
All right, some previous grids.
Oh my lord. Okay, so we're gonna really have to scroll. August. Nope. I went past it. 17 right here.
Yeah, if this is all category. Oh my god, dude, are you kidding me? Yo, dude. All right, go to the next date.
Forget
the rant. I'm not doing 10 rebounds a game per season. I swear to God, I'm not doing it this
2023. Week. All right, so we got to go way back then. 11. Oh, rarity. Oh, okay. You can see all the ones we played. You can see when I played on this computer.
Oh, yeah.
Your shows. All right, November 2023. So let's go way back. What was it? November 2nd is the next one. Okay. November.
All right.
Okay.
There's one stat in here, but I can live with that. We got a little bit. We can work with a little bit. So this week on Immaculate Grid, from left to right, our columns are the Warriors, the Pacers, and MVP, and our rows are Sixers, Lakers, and Rockets.
And the goal is to try to use Swaggy P, and sadly, I don't think we can.
No, there is absolutely a place where you can use Swaggy P. There are 2 actually, I think, where you can definitively use them. Warriors and Lakers, and Sixers and Lakers.
When did he go to the Warriors?
I'm pretty sure he's on the Warriors. I am almost.
Didn't D'Angelo Russell? Wasn't Russell was the guy that had to go?
No, D'Angelo Russell was definitely on the Warriors, but I think Nick Young was on the Warriors too, late in his career.
Oh, maybe that. Okay, I didn't realize that.
It was on one of the. I don't know if he won a title there, but I feel like or maybe he did. It may have been on like one of the Kevin Durant teams. Yeah, he was definitely on the Warriors, and I know he played for the Sixers because he was on the Sixers pre-process. And
oh yeah, so you want to do? I bet Swaggy's more known because he was dating Iggy as a Laker.
I think he's lower for Sixers and Warriors as well.
All right, Nick Young, here it is, 0.6. Let's
go. There you go. All right, mission Swaggy P accomplished.
Mission Swaggy accomplished.
All right, so if we're gonna stick with the Sixers row, I mean, Sixers Pacers, I think the highest percentage, I can't believe I'm saying this, might be TJ McConnell right now.
For which one? Sixers Pacers? Oh, yeah.
I think
Evan Turner, Thad Young.
Yes to both.
Yeah.
Man, who else is George Hill? I think might be low only because his tenure with the Sixers was so short. He was a little more known with the Pacers. That's the thing. TJ was traded?
Did someone go with him?
No, TJ was not traded either. He was a free agent.
He was free agent. Okay.
Yeah, TJ just got a bigger contract from the Pacers.
That's fair.
Yeah, he'll be a 2-team guy probably for his career. I mean,
that's
that new deal he signed kind of makes it seem like he's going to end in Indy. You know, maybe either way. I digress. Yeah, I'm trying to. After Evan and Thad, I feel like and George Hill, I feel like I thought I had a bunch and I just kind of like ran out of gas there real quick. I mean, I don't think they haven't had any trades recently, really.
No.
I'm trying to think of like the random process guys who
nobody Lance Stevenson never. Oh, Lance Stevenson, Pacers, Lakers would work.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson works Pacers, Lakers. I mean, 2 of the main guys from that team work because Roy Hibbert works too.
Roy does work.
Yeah, man, shoot. I don't want to. Evan Turner's probably my lowest of the guys you mentioned. I think TJ is going to be high. And George Hill, I think, was more. George Hill's tough because he was really well known in Indy, but also like I don't think people really remember that he was a Sixer like half a season post trade deadline. I think. Um, I don't know. I'll defer there. You, if you want to do George Hill or Evan Turner.
Let's do Hill.
Okay.
Let's do George.
I think he'll be low for like I said, I don't think people will remember him as a Sixer really.
Paul
This could be
George also works. We didn't mention
who does?
Paul George.
Oh yeah, yeah. Paul George does work officially now. You're right. That might be a popular one.
Yeah, that is definitely a pop. Wow, George Hill was pretty popular too.
Yeah, it's that Pacers tenure, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Sixers MVP, Embiid, Iverson. I don't remember if you have to win it with the team or not in this category, but Barkley won MVP at some point. Yeah, MVP must be one with that team.
Okay.
Julius Irving won MVP. I don't know if I mean, it feels like Wilt would have won it with us. Like that feels like something would have happened at some point. Moses Malone I think he might have won MVP with us too. I think he won MVP in 83.
You want to go with him?
I mean, Joel and Allen are going to be high. I think Wilt will be high too, just because like his probably most popular tenure was with us. I would, yeah, of the five we've named, I think Moses will be the lowest for sure. Moses also quietly might work in Houston.
Oh yeah. Well, who else would we want to use for Houston MVP at that point? Did Yao won one, right?
No, Yao didn't win MVP.
No MVP?
No, the two for Houston are Harden. Harden won MVP in Houston.
Yeah, Harden.
And Olajuwon. Olajuwon had to have won MVP in Houston, I feel like at least once. Dude, honestly, the more I think about it though, the more I'm saying I have this. I think Moses Malone won back-to-back MVPs, and if he won back-to-back MVPs, and one of them was with the Sixers in '83, it would have been Houston because he was on Houston before the Sixers, and he was quite good there, obviously, because that was the impact, right? Like the Sixers could never get over the hurdle, and then they brought Moses Malone in and instantly won. Yeah. I mean, Olajuwon will be high. Harden's going to be high.
So you want to go Malone here?
I think we go Moses Malone there. Yeah, I think he's going to be really low for Houston. And if we're wrong, then I blew it, and we can use Moses up top.
Nope, you got it. That's right. 4% too is wild.
Sixers, Joel, and AI are going to be the highest. So, like, I'm inclined to go with Irving if we're going to go with another one. That feels safe. I don't know that. What was I going to say? I think Wilt will be higher than Julius Irving is.
So you want to go Irving?
Yeah, I think Dr. J. Like he just won it. And Iverson is like one of the more 50. That's the thing is all the Sixers guys who won MVP. Well, I guess everyone that wins MVP is quite popular, but like all the Sixers guys that win MVP. Lakers MVP is interesting too, because right, it's like you have so many options here.
Yeah.
So because like you've got wait, say it again.
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe won. I don't know. Shaq definitely won. Kobe won. Magic won. I don't know if Wilt won with LA because it was so late in his career that I'm not 100% about it.
Yeah.
Kareem definitely won with LA. LeBron didn't. I'm trying to think if there's anybody like AD hasn't. James Worthy never won. I'm like trying to think back in the day. Like I feel like Jerry West would have won MVP at one point.
Probably.
I think Elgin Baylor may have won MVP too.
That'd be an interesting one to go for.
Who, Elgin Baylor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the like, oh man, because like I don't even know if MVP existed when George Mikan was around. But I also don't know if MVP existed when Elgin Baylor was around. Like that's the thing, right? Or if it did, it was late. God, I don't know. I'm always tough with those guys because they were just losing to the Celtics all the time, and so that's why it's tough for me to be like, did that happen at some point? Jerry West, I'm a little more sure about. But even then, it's because they were just always losing to the Celtics. Which leaves us at Kobe, Shaq, and Magic Johnson.
Let's do Kobe. Let's just go generic. It's going to be probably the biggest answer, but
yeah, it'll be hard.
Kobe in a while.
Yeah, it's fine. We almost never do Kobe. It's very chalky.
Yeah, 45%. But we haven't done them in a minute, so.
Yeah, I'll check the two boomers in a little bit for Elgin and Jerry West to see if they did. Magic definitely did. There's no doubt about it. Shaq MVP. Dude, Shaq only won MVP once. Like, I guess maybe that's not a surprise, but he only won MVP one time. It was with the Lakers.
I was just saying, he didn't win one with the Heat?
No. It was 99, 2000. He won MVP.
So for the podcast listeners, we got Warriors, Lakers, Warriors, Rockets, Pacers, Lakers, Pacers, Rockets. I feel like I know a good amount of these right now. Off the top of my head, well, we already said Lance Stevenson potentially for Pacers, Lakers. We're still debating that. I feel like Boogie Cousins would work for Warriors, Lakers. Rockets, Lakers too. Yeah.
I think Boogie works for like all of them, I think.
Did he ever go on the Pacers though? I don't think.
No.
So
no Pacers, but he definitely works for Warriors
Lakers,
and
Rockets and Warriors.
He played for the Warriors, right? Like I know he got hurt, but
he played. He definitely played a game. He had to have. That would be crazy if he didn't. I
thought he played. I thought he did too. Because it was coming off the injury. It'll be lower for. Actually, I don't know. It'll be lower for both the end of his career.
I feel like
go Rockets. You know what? Because maybe he didn't play for the Lakers because he signed for the Lakers the year they won the title, and that's why they brought Dwight back. Remember?
Dwight Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was there though. Didn't they play together?
I don't know if he played.
All right,
I think he got hurt.
Yeah.
Obviously he works there in Houston. That I'm 100% sure about.
So do you want to go Lance Stevenson there, or do you think that's going to be a common answer?
I think Lance will be lower than Roy Hibbert will be.
Let's do Lance. Or let's do Lance then.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. I feel like there's other guys. I just don't know why my brain is not working with them right now. So yeah, go Lance. I'm fine doing Lance. He's not super well known as a Laker, I feel like.
No, Lance is 32%.
Just kidding. Psych.
I mean, he was very popular, I guess. So
he's super popular in Indy. I never doubted that. It's the
national popularity, I guess.
Yeah, Lance will make him dance. All right, Pacers, Rockets, and Warriors, Lakers. Warriors, Lakers, the bench guy that I think will always be high is Quinn Cook.
Okay.
He was always like supposed to be a guy, and then I think he ended up playing like 3 or 4 seasons, but he won like 3 titles in those 3 or 4 seasons, and then just was out of the NBA. Just kind of crazy how that works. Yeah. The other one too is we talk about him kind of as like as a guy that can be used in a lot of places, but I don't ever feel like I use that much. Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes definitely works for Warriors and Lakers.
Matt Barnes definitely works. I
don't think Baron Davis ever played for the Lakers. I know he played for the Warriors.
I feel like JaVale McGee would work.
JaVale McGee does work. You're right.
Yeah, JaVale McGee would work. He's like, Jeremy Lin. I think he works too, actually. Weirdly enough.
I don't want to use Jeremy Lin. I feel like we use him all the time.
Okay. Derek Fisher?
I don't think he played for Golden State.
I think he did.
Did he?
I think
I truly don't. I remember him playing for the Lakers, obviously.
He was on the Lakers forever.
Well, he left though. He left to go to Utah, and then he came back.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I
think he did a season with the Warriors.
If you think he did, I'm down because it would be low because I don't remember Derek Fisher as a Warrior at all.
I think he did.
Okay.
let's take a risk here. I'm not yeah, okay, 2%.
Wow. Okay. When the hell did he play for the Warriors?
He played for yeah, because he was like in my mind he never played off the team, but there was a 2K that I remember playing as him as the
Wow,
Warriors.
he had one season in
Yeah.
05, 06, he played for the Warriors. It was the first after the first Lakers run.
Yep.
He was there he had 2 seasons with the Warriors, and then he went to Utah, and then he went back to the Lakers, where he won again with Kobe, and then the random years in OKC. He had
Yeah.
a 10-day with Dallas. He's
got
actually
a
played
lot
for
of
Dallas
rings.
at one point.
He's got a lot of rings.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 5. He won 5 with Kobe. Yeah, there for the both go-arounds. I think he was the only one who was there for both go-arounds.
Yep.
All right, so Rockets and Pacers. I know that Doug McDermott works.
Oh, Doug.
I feel like that's
Dougie
obvious.
McBuckets. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that one's obvious. Man, who else?
The man himself, Luis Scola.
Oh, that's
Definitely works there.
Oh, that's a good one.
He was a monster in 2K.
Yeah, great rebounder. He played for the Argentinian national team for a while. Like he was playing well into his 40s, I think, for the Argentinian national team.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We've used Scola like almost ever, I think. I'm super down with that.
Okay. I think that's how I spell it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, SCOLA. Yep.
10%. That was kind of high.
Yeah, I mean, he is very well known in the international game.
Yeah.
Him and Nocioni played forever.
Nocioni, yeah. 84 connections for the Sixers and Warriors.
I kind of believe that, dude. Like, there weren't many. Like, who did we end up putting?
We ended up putting Nick Young. That's
we put Nick Young. I mean, without even thinking, like, Wilt is obvious.
Well, here the most recent. This is just the most recent. Buddy Hield, Milton, Dario, Kelly Oubre, Alex Burks, Willie Cauley-Stein, Glenn Robinson III, Nick Young, JaVale McGee, Justin Holiday, Dwayne Dedman, Andre Iguodala. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, it's a popular one.
Spates, Carl Landry, Kwame Brown, Ish Smith, Darrell Wright, Raja Bell, and Anthony Tolliver, Marco Bellinelli, Matt Barnes.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, and most of those I feel like we would have got to with minimal digging. Either way, yeah, definitely a good one there. Do you want to scroll down to most popular answers?
Yes, most popular is going to be.
All right, so it was Iguodala for Sixers Warriors. Okay,
it was the most popular.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. All right, so Andre Iguodala for Sixers and Warriors. TJ McConnell, who we talked about for Sixers and Pacers. Joel Embiid, most popular for Sixers MVP. D'Angelo Russell for Lakers and Warriors. Lance Stevenson for Lakers and Pacers. Kobe for Lakers and MVP. Chris Paul for Rockets and Warriors. Obviously just happened. Not really surprised there. Victor Oladipo for Pacers and Rockets. We actually didn't even talk about that. And James Harden for Rockets MVP. Not really too big of a surprise there. Pretty recent. To reset our grid one last time for Sixers and Knicks, we had Nick Young, or Sixers and Knicks, good Lord. Sixers and Warriors, we had Nick Young. Sixers and Pacers, George Hill. Sixers MVP, Julius Erving. Lakers and Warriors, Derek Fisher. Lakers and Pacers, Lance Stevenson. Lakers MVP, Kobe Bryant. Rockets and Warriors, DeMarcus Cousins. Rockets and Pacers, Luis Scola. And Rockets MVP, Moses Malone. So we are back on track. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. We appreciate you guys as always, as the sun is now shining in my face. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find us.
And you can find us on YouTube. Search Drive and Dish NBA podcast. You'll be able to pull us up, watch a video version of the podcast, subscribe there as well. And you'll get notifications when the next episode's coming out.